Wardlow, uh, the Golden Ticket Irish Monster, otherwise known as the Gingerbread Man.
Yeah, and I'm Eric Wardlow, father of the Golden Ticket, the Irish Monster.
Yeah, I'm feeling amazing. Today was a light day. Just hit a little run. I went up some hills today. Yeah, it was just a light day.
Yeah, so we've been on this boxing journey for a little bit of time now. It's been approximately, I would say, about 4 years going on. And Julian has progressed to a point that amazes me some days, to be honest with you. So he's very determined, and he's a workhorse. That's basically what he is. I mean, obviously you have to have skills to pay the bills, but the work ethic is what keeps us progressing. Yeah, because in this day and age, Mel, that's the thing. We're missing a little bit of that in our society. And with boxing, boxing's the one sport where you have your father. If you look at all the greats, they either have a grandfather, an uncle, a father, or a father figure. Because without it, in that landscape, it can be a little dicey. There's a lot of movement, and you got to have somebody that's of the operating mind to deal with it. So the fighter fights. As he grows older, he'll come into the business sense, but until then, he has to have somebody that can navigate the landscape properly.
Yeah, I was at school one day, and my best friend, he boxed. So he said, come down to the gym, and I did. Ever since, I've been loving it. Hey, I was a little nervous, but after time, I'm all good now.
So yeah, we have a little history in our family of boxing. My brother boxed. My grandfather was a professional boxer, and his father before him had a little something to do with the promotion aspect of boxing. So we had a little lineage in there. But really, to be honest, you don't push somebody into boxing. Boxing's something that Julian came to me and wanted to do it, because with boxing, it's not like baseball. You don't play boxing. So as it gets more into it, more in depth with it, you're putting your kid in there. I don't want to say, you can get hurt. I mean, the bottom line is it's the hurt business. And so you have to have a certain skill set along with a mindset to be able to actually deal with that. So some kids do it for fun. We obviously do it for competition and business. So that's our main goal at the end of this run is we kind of have a short-term goal and a long-term goal. And right now we're trying to achieve our short-term.
I wake up, go on my jog, watch some boxing films. Then we go on to the gym, hit some bags. When I get home, I eat dinner. Then I go to the gym again for weights. Yeah, boxing it's taught me a lot of discipline. It's taught me to respect people, build them up if they're not, help people. Yeah, it's taught me a lot.
Right. So how you balance a child athlete is a little complicated. My dad was a coach. My brother and I we played high level baseball. We also did a lot of things, but my dad was our coach basically. And so the old school way was to push until you can't push no more, and then push them further. But evolution taught us that you got to have a good mix and a good balance. So I let Julian do his thing, and then when there's correctiveness to be corrected, then I do that. For the most part, Julian's at the point now to where he's got his trainer Mickey, a very high level trainer. I would say the best in the world, but he's getting high level education of boxing that at such a young age that it almost kind of makes it easy at this point, to be honest. He's way ahead of where most kids at his age are for the least fights that he has. He's only 18 fights in, and he's fighting guys with 90 fights and looking the way he does. So that kind of tells you how we balance this out. But how the Army kind of breaks you down to build you up? Well, I don't want to break them down like that, but you do have to break down a little bit. But you want to be encouraging a kid. You don't need to break down a kid like you do a grown man. They're still in building process. Their mind hasn't matured to that point to where they can deal with that, So, like I said, you have to be cautious with that. And he's my son, so that's my love. All my kids are my love, but this particular one does something that can get him hurt if he does something wrong, as far as by another person. So yeah. So I make sure that I have, I try to keep everything balanced. Basically, balance.
Yeah, my first fight, I stopped the kid 39 seconds in the first round with a body shot. So, yeah. But my hardest fight was probably when I went to Nogales, Mexico. I fought their champion. It was a hard fight, but I got the W. Yeah, that's all that matters. Yeah, we learned we gotta run more. Got a little tired, but hey, we bounced back and I'm all good.
What it's like to have a son that fights? That's the question. It's tough. I'm not gonna lie. It's nerve-wracking. I'm gonna say, just because I know a lot of fathers that have sons as fighters, from low level to high level, the dads are always the most nervous. Or even my dad, for that matter. Anybody that has to deal with the family when they're watching it, I think, has probably more nerves than Julian does. But when Julian is at his best, when he's fully loose and ready to go and in the right mindset, it's probably one of the most beautiful things that I've ever seen in my life, to be honest with you, man. And it's not because he's my son, and I tell people this all the time. Julian could be anybody's son, and I would say the same things about him. The kid has a gift when it comes to moving his feet and his hands, and the understanding of seeing holes and where people, where they're gonna be, not always where they're at. That's the anticipation part of a boxer. A great mind can see or put a person in position where they're gonna be instead of where they're at. A lot of people try to hit towards where they're at, and then that's why they miss. So watching that is beautiful, man. It's beautiful. Yeah. But nerve-wracking at the same time. The bliss of both the pro and the con, Yeah, so basically when Julian first started boxing, he was still at school. And what started happening was we'd have to work late as far as training, or we'd have to go somewhere, with the traveling part of it. And it's really hard to balance that. So we got to the point to where homeschool was just kind of the natural choice. He's a good student. Like I said, he works hard at whatever he does. If he puts his mind to something, he can accomplish it. So, and I got a good wife that obviously helps out the family in a lot of ways. And so really, a boxing family, it's the family is the word, because it takes the family to be able to do all this. If it was just me and Julian, I don't know if we could get it done as easy as the way that we get it done. So obviously we have the pieces in place to make this work in a whole. Man, it's funny. It's funny you bring that up, Mel, because we're in that process as we speak. Because Julian's at a certain weight right now, and so I always say, when he said I wanted to be a world champion, he's a kid. So I asked him. I said, well, Julian, I don't know if you understand what that's going to take. He said, no, Dad, I understand what it's going to take. I said, because it's a lot of sacrifice. You're going to give up a lot of things that other kids are doing to achieve this dream or this goal that you have. And so the whole family, when he's on weight eating, we're eating the same thing. So I'm losing weight when he's losing weight. He gains weight, I gain a little weight. That's just the process of how we live our life. So, but like I said, it takes the whole family. I have multiple kids. So I have an older boy that's in the Army. I have 1 year younger, which is Dallas. And they, if they're in the home, they do like as in Rome, you do as Romans. That's how it is in this environment. But everybody's on board with it, man. Nobody feels out of place or forgotten. They kind of all know that Julian has a dream and a goal. And if someone does, it takes the collectiveness of the group to try to push that goal forward. It takes financial stability. So without people's support or family, friends, if you're with a gym, we just recently became independent. So things have to come from the places that you're at for the support for your growth. They say boxing is a poor man's sport, but I'm gonna tell you, without somebody paying for it, you're not going anywhere. It costs $4,000 to $5,000 to go on these week-long trips. Now that's just for a couple of people to go. Imagine if you had a large family. The other thing is how do you manage that and losing money off of work? I own a small business and I'm owner operator. If I don't go to work, I don't get paid. So without the support of others, of people that have love for Julian, we wouldn't be able to get this done. I'll be honest with you. Yeah. So it took support from everybody I know, and even people I don't know, that believed in what they saw, that wanted to see a kid reach his dream. So
I love that my family supports everything I do. When I'm on my weight cuts, they eat whatever when I'm eating. It's about like money.
you have to say it. That's all.
Yeah, it's very good that everyone just comes together.
Yeah, even my little boy, even my young boy Dallas, he boxed for a little bit, but he helps Julian sometimes as far as with the running. See, a boxer needs somebody around. People always say it's the loneliest sport in the world, and it is, but everybody has a team. And so if you don't have those proper people in place to get that last run done, Julian might need a little incentive that day. He's a kid. So you have to create purpose. I don't have to create the purpose for his goal, but the day-to-day grind, it gets meticulous for a grown man. So you can only imagine for a 12-year-old boy to put in that and have that dedication to get it done. So he surprises all of us, man, like in a good way, that he has that level of dedication at this young of an age, because it's not, I'm gonna be honest, Mel, it's not normal. It really isn't. I mean, there's kids, I'm not gonna say there's not kids out there doing it, but we do this, we live this 24/7. So when you heard the Roy Jones story about 7 days a week and then sit twice as much on Sunday, now you welcome to our world. But that's what he wants. So when a person wants it, now I do give him his rest breaks, and we go through all that, and I seek out the knowledge for proper nutrition, proper rest, proper growth as far as all that goes. But you have to really push yourself if you want to be great. If you want to be good, you ain't got to do as much. But if you want to be great at something, you got to live it, you got to drink it, you got to sleep it, you got to eat it. That's what we do.
My goal right now is to be a national champion, but later in life, I want to be a 4-division undisputed world champion. But I look up to my dad and my trainer, Mickey Bay. They both inspire me a lot. Mickey, he's one hell of a trainer, but hey, my dad and my trainer give me both a lot of inspiration.
Yeah, where do I see Julian in a few years? I see Julian going to about 17 in amateur boxing, somewhere in that range. Winning some good titles, having some good accolades, and then from there, going straight to the top. Going straight to the top, man. We're not doing this to be per se the best amateur boxer. Now that's obviously comes with what we're trying to do, but that's only thinking of a small term thing. Long term wise, progression wise, I want him to achieve his goal. He wants to be the best that's ever touched gloves. That's the goal. Okay, yeah, we have a GoFundMe, and like I said, we do also have, for people that donate a certain amount, we do T-shirts, and we do what we can. My wife, she does all that stuff, and so that's basically how we move around. I mean, that's our bread and butter as far as getting to where we got to go. So it is. Yeah, it's right there in the bio. It's right there in the bio, right? Where everybody's is. Yep. Basically, just tap on the link, and all donations, doesn't matter the amount. Any amount helps get where we're trying to go to. And we do have a sponsor as far as that's helped us out in the last couple of fights per se. It's Arizona Lines is the company that's out here, and I think they're out of Goodyear. And basically what they do is they do the street lines, but it's a family owned and run company, and the guy used to be an amateur boxer. So when he saw Julian's GoFundMe, he saw, they contacted my wife, and then we talked for a second, and then he came down to the gym, man. That's what was crazy. Like, I talked to him that day. He came down with a check and was like, "Hey, man, I just want to know that what you're doing with your son. I'm reliving my youth through it. So he gets to be a part of the journey, obviously helping us out. But like I said, man, it's funny how that is, but when another person is having success and you live vicariously, you're kind of living the dream too, in a way, No, I'm gonna be honest, man. For a kid his age with no national titles, with 18 fights, to be able to generate the movement or the support, or for people to see the vision. Even Mickey says, man, at his age, he's so far ahead of the curve because this doesn't usually happen like that to a kid his age. They just don't start coming around till about 15 with that type of help. You know, normally it's through a gym. Normally a gym's going to find those sponsors. They already have those contacts. I've had to do everything I've ever gotten for Julian was through my doing, as far as reaching out, finding this, or at least being on certain sites where people saw the progression and saw the work ethic, and then they wanted to help out. So if it wasn't for me staying up late making the videos, in which I don't come from that, I'm 49 years old. I didn't have an Instagram prior to Julian doing boxing. I just don't really come from that era. So it was all new to me. So I knew I had to get my son's name out there, and I saw his progression. And I figured, I just thought if people saw what he did, they would fall in love with him the same way that I see it. So that was kind of the vision of it. Yeah, yeah. People showed a lot of support, a lot of love, man, a lot of love, and we also get. That's the thing, man. When Julian's shoes outgrow him, or if we get a pair and he's still good, I give those shoes away. I give the gloves away, to some kids, because in boxing, a lot of times people don't have their dad, or they're not in a position where they can afford to have a pair of gloves like that. So we've been real fortunate in life. I don't come from, how do I say this? We don't come from money. And I don't come from, I was very limited in my run of school and just that whole process of life. And I've been involved with other sides of life. Let's just put it that way. And so with that, I know to give back. That's the one thing. Even when I was younger, man, if I saw somebody and they was in need and I had it, I'm gonna give it, man. That's just, I don't know. I just feel that's the process of life. And if more people did that, we'd be a lot better off.
Oh yeah, it's not a sport where it's very hard. You gotta train every day. You gotta eat good. You gotta it's
dedication.
It's dedication. It's discipline. That's how I know. Yeah, I want to thank my dad, my trainer Mickey Bay, my mother, my brother, my grandparents, my other brother in the army. But yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to boxing, as far as parents, don't do it. No. Boxing's a very tough, rigorous sport. And so but if you're doing it for fun, it's one thing. If you're doing it for competition, it's another thing. So I always say, just, you have to be really composed, as far as you're going to go through a lot of growth spurt, if you will. You're going to have a lot of highs and lows. In boxing, in general, or especially amateur boxing, you're going to win some and you're going to lose them, and you have to be able to take losses the same way you take wins. So if you can't do that, like football, you see how they act out there you see those coaches and how they're yelling, and you can't do that in boxing. See, you're inside somebody's gym, or maybe it's just you and against 20 people, and it's just you and your son. You have to be able to balance that out. So you better have a personality that can deal with the harder side of life, because in boxing, people come from tough areas. So it's not like playing baseball or soccer. It's really not like that, man. Everybody comes from a tough story. So nobody really cares about your story so much, when you're going through the process of it, if that makes sense. So be aware of what you're getting yourself into, is what I would tell a parent getting themselves into boxing. Because boxing is very good, and I love almost every kid that I've ever met in boxing was one of the best kids I've ever met. But then again, I've seen parents to where they changed that in their kid because they didn't know how to deal with it. Yeah, pretty much what I do, I have, for my business, I have a Facebook, and obviously all my stories go to Facebook, but I do everything off of Instagram, to be honest with you. So if you want to follow the journey, and I hope you guys do, you can follow us at Eric Wardlow 76, and that's at Instagram. And then, like I said, in my bio, that will be where you can find the link as far as to do the GoFundMe.
Got a fight the 7th through the 14th. If you guys want to watch, live on Instagram or Facebook.
We're going to Colorado.
We're going to Colorado. I'm gonna bring that W back.
Yes, sir.
Sorry.